The woman who changed lives with kindness. In a small village on the edge of the countryside, there lived a woman named Beatrice Wynne. Her life story was simple yet powerful. She had devoted her entire existence to comforting the pain of others. She was not rich in money, but her heart overflowed with compassion, and that made her wealthier than most. Beatrice lost her parents at a young age. She was only 17 when she took responsibility for raising her younger brother, Miles. They had cold winter nights with empty plates, yet not once did Beatrice let bitterness grow in her heart. Even then, she made a silent promise to herself. One day, if I have even a little, I will never let anyone around me feel alone or unloved. Years passed. Miles grew up, studied hard, and found a job in the city. Beatrice, meanwhile, began working at a small tailor's shop. Slowly, she turned her skills into something bigger. She started her own sewing circle at home and gave jobs to other women who needed extra income. If a neighbor's husband lost his job, Beatrice would say, "Don't worry, come over, we'll find work for you too." Her tiny house was always warm, not just from the hum of sewing machines, but from her kindness. If a child fell ill, Beatrice was the first to run to the pharmacy. If a family was drowning in debt, she would hand over her own savings without a second thought. Over time, her kindness became the heart of the village. One day, a young journalist heard about her and came to visit. "Miss Beatrice," he asked, "why do you help so many people? You struggled so much yourself. Wouldn't it be better to think about your own comfort now?" Beatrice smiled softly. "I never found peace when I thought only of myself," she said. "But when I gave kindness, I found peace. Money may solve problems, but kindness changes lives." When Beatrice fell ill in her late 50s, the entire village took turns sitting at her bedside. Neighbors brought meals, medicine, and warm blankets. The doctor said with a chuckle, "All these prayers and this love are the best medicine you could ever have." In her weakest moment, Beatrice whispered to the women around her, "Remember this, when you ease another's burden, your own burden becomes lighter." Kindness is the greatest gift you can give and receive. As the years rolled on, Beatrice's little sewing circle grew into a thriving workshop. Dozens of women found dignity and financial freedom through her support. Some of them, in turn, began helping others in need, spreading the kindness like a chain reaction. One day, a young man named Rowan, who had studied business in the city, returned to the village. He sat down with Beatrice and asked, "Miss Beatrice, I want to start my own business, but people say you can't trust everyone. That kindness is weakness in this world. What do you think?" Beatrice looked into Rowan's eyes, her own eyes shining with calm conviction. "Rowan, never hold back your kindness. Give it freely, but expect nothing in return. Kindness is not weakness, strength. It doesn't always come back from the person you gave it to, but it always finds its way back to you." Rowan carried her words with him for life. He built his business on trust and genuine care for his employees and their families. Years later, when journalists asked him about the secret to his success, he would always say, "It was the kindness of one woman, Beatrice Wynne, that taught me everything I needed to know." Now in her 70s, Beatrice still lives in the same house where so many found shelter. Just last winter, when the poorest family in the village couldn't afford a wedding for their daughter, Beatrice stayed up all night sewing a wedding dress by hand. The next morning, she watched the young bride's eyes fill with tears of joy, and she knew that a heart filled with kindness is the richest heart of all. Even today, mothers in the village gathered their children and say, "Do you know who taught us to be kind? Miss Beatrice did." Remember this, kindness never goes to waste. When you give kindness, you lift others, and in time, that same kindness will lift you too.